Hey, what's going on, guys? Got something to admit. I neglected my Fieldmarshal Mauser that I bought. I never finished it, which is bad because it will rust. It's just a little light surface rust, but I saw it the other day because I just kind of set it on the counter over my workbench, over here, and sitting back there, I was like, oh, there's a little bit of flash rust, and so I picked it up and looked at it and handled it even more, which is the wrong thing to do, and which took more of the oil off the surface, so it oxidized more. So now I really got to deal with it. Basically, what I need to do on this thing is sand it down, get the rust off, apply bluing. I'm also going to fire blue certain parts. Thanks to Scott JUA for pointing those out. I did not know that because I don't own a real Mauser. And my one MGC is not a blued one. It's one of the gold, chromy, terrible looking ones. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it down. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble it. And that way I can sand these parts without accidentally scuffing a part I don't want scuffed up. Okay, you can see here, there's a few little rust spots, but it's the mill marks, those teeny tiny lines, and they're, all over the sides too. They got to be removed from most of the surfaces, although I'm going to leave it here in these pits, just because I think they should be there. But I'm going to sand all this smooth, and at the same time it's going to remove the rust. And here's the worst of the rust. It's here on the barrel. I put this piece in, I shouldn't have. It's got two tiny little holes here where there's pins, and it's hard to get them out. So I think all I gotta do though is just piece off the pins. Okay, so this is 3 rounds of sanding. This was 120, 220, and then I had to go up to 600 because I didn't have anything between there. So it looks pretty good. Most of the lines are gone, not all of them. All the rust is gone though. Still left those milling marks. Knocked off a lot of the sharp edges. You know, need to make it look a little bit, you know, less sharp because it is a 100-year-old gun, you know, and I just don't feel like some of those really super sharp edges would have been present. They would have been finished off. So I actually sheared off my fingernail at one point, sanding, so that was fun. Went upstairs and gave it a rinse, and there's how it looks. It's all splotchy. I've got to polish it up with a little steel bowl here. That'll help. And there's a few spots I missed that I couldn't really tell. This little edge right here I didn't get. That's about it. Yep, so let's see what we look like. Finish is a little splotchy, but I knew that was going to happen because it's always splotchy at the first round. So I'm going to hit it again with the second round. These parts are looking good though. So I did those 2 big pieces with the bluing, and the main reason why is because they had rust on them, and I didn't want them to rust further, so I wanted to deal with them first. Still got a bunch of other parts to do. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to disassemble anything left. I kind of already did some of it. I still got to take the slide off of the little sight, the little rangefinder. The button that goes on the inside of that is one of the ones that gets flame blued. So I'm going to go ahead, pull that apart, and blue the parts that are going to be chemically blued, and then I'm going to do the flame bluing on the few parts that need the flame bluing. So this piece, I got a little bit of black on the top, or a little bit of bluing on the top. Not a big deal. I'm just going to sand that off so it'll be nice and even on all edges here. I wanted to have some on the sides and on the back here. I'm going to have to hit the back a second time to darken it up further. I'm not worried about how dark the sides get. One's enough. And then that's probably good. This one, I know the trigger's supposed to be more of a raw metal. I wanted to use a single coat, and I'll knock it back real heavily. That way it appears lighter than the rest of it. So that's what I'm going to do with that one. And then this will be second full coat, second coat, second coat. I'll probably leave that lighter. So let's just give it a shine. barricade. They're going to soak overnight, and I'm going to give them a wipe down. And so the last thing I got to do is those few parts that got to be flame blued, which I've never done. So I'm going to try it out. I don't have any of the fancy equipment that is used for, you like set the bluing, or the parts you want flame blued on. Like it looks like a bunch of brass shavings and like a little brass cup with a handle. And I've seen a few different videos where they do that, but I don't have that. So I'm just going to be holding it with some vice grips and doing it that way. And I'll probably put one piece on my vice on the anvil side of it, and that way I don't have to hold it because it's so small. Alright, so I'm not going to put this on the anvil side of the vise. I'm just going to grip it in the vice grips like I did all the other ones. Super thin. Scott JUA warned that this one happens super fast, so got to be very vigilant on paying attention to that color. So it's got a little overcooked on this end, a little undercooked in the middle where the vice grip was holding on to it, so it's kind of a rainbow. Alright, so all in all, I think that went about as well as I could expect for the very first time doing it. I think the trigger looks perfect. I think the little rangefinder button, it's perfect. I think the little release clip is perfect. I might have overdone this piece just a hair. It's that little slide stop, but I'm not going to redo it. That little tiny piece that sits in the, what do you call it, the little sliding piece, the little super thin piece, definitely got overcooked. I'm going to sand that one down and redo that tomorrow. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I would assemble it right now, but I want to give that those parts I blued earlier a good soak in that barricade. So we're going to wait until the morning, and then we're going to try that one piece again with the flame bluing, and then we assemble it and we're done. Well, that is until I decide to make it into a blaster. So alright, it's the next day. I've had a lot going on today. I've not been able to get down here. It's almost the evening, so had a valve, the spigot in the upstairs bathroom break before the valve, and just spray water everywhere in the middle of the night. And just I woke up, I ran up there, I got it shut off. I had to shut off the house. I can't even talk, I'm so tired. I had to shut the water off to the entire house to get it to stop, and then had to clean up all the water, which took like another hour. And then first thing in the morning, I had to have a plumber out and had to have a moisture mitigation company come out and deal with the water and check. And I have water in the ceiling in the bathroom that's underneath that one. I had water come all the way down to the basement down here, which there's nothing down here. It's gonna get hurt. It's all just bare cement and whatnot. But I've been so tired because I haven't had a lot of sleep, and I've just been go, 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 go. I'm gonna put this together. I'm gonna finish it up. I gotta attempt at the flame blue on that little piece, that little thin metal piece that goes in the like extractor or whatever it's called. So I'm gonna sand that down. I'm gonna try to reflame that. This time I am gonna use the anvil side of the vise, and so I'm gonna do that now, and then I'm gonna put it back together. Alright, so I had the exact same problem. The ends got blue, the middle did not. I'm just going to use a chemical process on this. I'm just going to use some super blue and do it that way. It's not going to be the bright blue that it should be. It's going to be more of a black, but I don't have the equipment to do it correctly. Okay, it's done. It is friggin' gorgeous. It looks so good, especially compared to a Denix. In fact, I didn't know about this bluing, flame bluing on these parts. It's a very subtle thing. It's actually really difficult to pick up on the camera, but it adds a little extra character to it. I might have to see if I can get my hands on some of the walnut grips for this, because plastic ones they're just not as pretty. This thing's awfully pretty. I want to keep it looking nice. This is a really cool kit. I want to say thanks again to Fieldmarshal for actually making it. I know there's a lot of people involved. I know Scott JUA was also involved. I want to thank him again for putting out the information about the flame bluing on those certain parts. I do feel like that really adds a bit of character and realism to it that I don't think that I've seen on a Denix or an MGC. Well, at least not my MGC. So yeah, this is beautiful. I mean, it looks so real. Like it looks like I could just go shoot somebody with it. It's crazy. This is gonna be a really great base for my Greedo killer, which is I've got all the real parts to do it except for the scope. I just gotta sit down and put it together. Gonna have to sadly drill holes and tap some threads into this thing. Not really looking forward to it, but not, you know. I always freak out because these are not exactly cheap, you know. They're beautiful. They're worth the money, I think, if you want that really that presence that I don't think a Denix has, you know. So and getting an MGC that looks nice, that isn't like chrome or gold plated, you know, sometimes can be pretty pricey. Even the chrome and gold plated ones are expensive. So I'm gonna give you guys a few beauty shots, but before I do, don't forget to check out the blog, propchopshop.com. There'll be a link in the description. Or if you need to message me about anything, hit me up on the blog, hit me up on the RPF as Magrathea, and I'll see you guys next time. Here's some beauty shots.